negative.
I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
All right, welcome to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. We are streaming live on YouTube, the YouTube channel, very simple to find, Nation of Jake, one word, Nation of Jake. You can also follow me on the Facebook and on the Twitter, at Nation of Jake, on this Monday, August 12th, year of our Lord, 2019, mostly sunny, 94 degrees. 95 is going to be the high, but that's deceptive because the feels like temperature is 111. That's right. Heat advisories, excessive heat warnings. So be advised, you heard it here. I'm doing my due diligence on this radio program to help you beat the heat. Not just today, but every day that the excessive heat and the mercury rises. All right, this is the back to school, not so spectacular. Shelby County Schools, back to school. Germantown Municipal Schools, back to school. Bartlett, back to school. Millington, back to school. Collierville, back to school. And all the rest. I know a lot of kids started like last week, some private school kids and whatnot. But August 12th, right now, is the back to school day. Your timeline is full of photos of the little ones headed back to the taxpayer-funded indoctrination camps. You're sending them on. You got a cute little sign. Maybe says kindergarten, second grade. That's become a big business, hasn't it? The signs. Kids holding up signs telling you what school year they're starting. People all over the Pinterest. I've seen chalkboards. I've seen kids just with a sheet of printer paper scribbled on there with a pen. You can tell what kind of dad I am. Here you go. Here you go. Here's your sheet of paper. Hold it up to the camera, kid. There you are. All right, the manhunt over the weekend for Curtis Ray Watson came to an end on Sunday morning. The West Tennessee State Pen escapee was found right there in Henning. He never even left town. And it just reminds us, don't challenge the TBI to a game of hide and seek. Those guys are going to win. We'll recap the manhunt and what's next. I mean, he allegedly murdered someone on his way out off the grounds of the prison. Could there be the death penalty? Will Curtis Ray Watson be riding the lightning at some point, probably 20 years from now or more? We've also got some resurfaced wisdom from the one and only Andrew W.K. If you don't remember Andrew W.K., he was the bloody-nosed young man dressed in white, imploring me to party hard. In fact, he told me, when it's time to party, you must party hard. He's also written an advice column for the Village Voice up in New York, where he's from. I mean, it's been 5 years since he wrote this advice column, but some of his advice has resurfaced on Twitter, and people are talking about the infinite wisdom of Andrew W.K. with regards to parties. All right, we've also got the news crews, all the latest breaking headlines from the weekend and from today on the news crews a little bit later. But the big bombshell over the weekend, I don't know where you were, but I was in the gym in between sets, scrolling through my Twitter feed when the news broke that Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his prison cell of an apparent suicide. That's right. 2 weeks ago, he was injured in his cell, placed on suicide watch, and then on Saturday, he was found dead in his cell. How does this happen? I mean, we've talked about it before. When somebody is in custody of the state, whether they're in custody of the police or in prison, the number one responsibility of the state is to keep that person safe. Now, Jeffrey Epstein, this is one of the biggest cases of the decade, maybe the century. I mean, the leader of an international pedophile ring, Jeffrey Epstein, who has connections to billionaires, to politicians, to royalty. So we get the news on Saturday morning. Convicted financier Jeffrey Epstein died of a suspected suicide after being found unresponsive Saturday morning in his Manhattan Correctional Center cell where he was being held on sex trafficking charges. After learning of Epstein's death while in federal custody, Attorney General William Barr ordered an investigation by the FBI and Inspector General. According to Barr, I was appalled to learn that Jeffrey Epstein was found dead early this morning from an apparent suicide while in federal custody. Hell, William Barr, you were surprised? Imagine how surprised Jeffrey Epstein was that he was found dead of an apparent suicide. Mr. Epstein's death raises serious questions that must be answered. In addition to the FBI's investigation, I've consulted with the Inspector General, who is opening an investigation into the circumstances of Mr. Epstein's death. Approximately 6:30 a.m., Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell in the special housing unit from an apparent suicide. That would be the SHU. Staff conducted life-saving measures as he was transported by ambulance to a hospital where he was pronounced dead, according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons. An hour later, around 7:30 a.m., a gurney carrying a man who looked like Epstein, was wheeled out of the jail and taken to New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital, the New York Post reported. Epstein hanged himself while in solitary confinement. 3 law enforcement sources confirmed the suicide to ABC News. NBC reported he was not on suicide watch. He had been on suicide watch. On July 24th, he was found nearly unconscious in his cell with injuries to his neck and placed on suicide watch. Now, this all seems really odd because as soon as the news broke that Jeffrey Epstein was found dead of an apparent suicide, everybody's mind went to the same place. Everybody's saying, come on. And this is not a right or left thing. Now, exactly the details of everybody's suspicions are definitely partisan. But I know people all across the political spectrum. All right. I do not just hang out in a conservative echo chamber or libertarian echo chamber. I know and interact with all kinds of people. People who are left of me, people who are left of left, all saying the same thing. If Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide, I will eat my hat. One person said, if Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide, I will eat my dog. People do not buy this suicide story. Now, Occam's razor, which is the simplest explanation, is the explanation, is that he committed suicide. All right, that's easy, right? However, I'm thinking Occam's razor cuts somewhere else. All right, we're looking at who? We're looking at who? Number one, everybody made the same joke. Everybody made the same joke that the Clintons were involved here. Well, the Clinton body count was trending on Twitter, countered by the Trump body count, which nobody jokes about a Trump body count. Donald Trump doesn't have that kind of reputation. The Clintons do. People talking about how Jeffrey Epstein got Vince Fostered. And there's that list that goes on and on, all the people connected to the Clintons who have been suicided. One of my favorite things was people marking themselves safe from being suicided by the Clintons there on social media. So everybody had jokes. You had the Suicide Squad. But instead of photos of Deadshot and all the Suicide Squad members, you had photos of the Clintons as the Suicide Squad. So everybody's making the same joke, which we're talking about a guy who committed suicide. And everybody's still making that same joke. Everybody's kind of like, yeah, whatever, right? But think about how suspicious this is. You've got Jeffrey Epstein, who has all these connections to not only Bill Clinton, but you had 24 hours since that unsealed document implicated high-level Democrats and royalty. We're talking about documents that said that Jeffrey Epstein provided minors who had sex with former governor of New Mexico, a Democrat, George Mitchell, former senator, was named in there. Alan Dershowitz was named in there. Prince Andrew. So we're talking about royalty. We're talking about high-level people. We're talking about famous people. Who knows what other names were attached to Jeffrey Epstein? So he winds up dead 24 hours after this stuff comes out. just 2 weeks after a quote-unquote suicide attempt the first time, 1 day after being taken off suicide watch. Why did they take him off suicide watch? Did they do any evaluations and figure, oh, he's not suicidal anymore? He was a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, but now he's fine. The fact that there's no video surveillance of his suicide because there was a camera malfunction at that moment. It all just doesn't add up. I mean, maybe somebody misunderstood the term suicide watch. Maybe the guards thought it was like a suicide watch party. Hey, just hang out and watch this guy commit suicide. Maybe the suicide watch was then upgraded to a suicide warning by the National Weather Service. Do they do that? Are they in charge of the same department in charge of that? Maybe the guards at the prison, at the Manhattan Correctional Center, maybe they're the same guards from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Remember those guys? Remember when the king was trying to explain to the guards, don't let him leave, don't let the prince leave. Now he'd say something like, make sure he doesn't leave until I come and get him. And then the guards were like, right, make sure he doesn't leave even if you come and get him. Oh, whatever it was. You stay here, make sure he doesn't commit suicide. Right, we'll stay here and make sure he commits suicide. Just kind of like a dumb guard situation. I don't know. It's times like these where it's important to have handy the phone number for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline in case you too have dirt on the Clintons. You want that prevented. That's how that can help you. No, man. So there are a lot of people who do not buy this. They think there is something up. You had the guys from MSNBC who are implicating Donald Trump in having something to do with ordering a hit on Jeffrey Epstein, saying, oh, this seems very Russian. And now everybody's all over Donald Trump for retweeting the conspiracy that the Clintons had something to do with it. There was a comedian who tweeted out a video about all this, and Donald Trump retweeted it like a dumbass. This is something that the president shouldn't touch. The president should not touch it. The president should be smart enough and have people around him to say, hey, Mr. Trump, do not retweet or tweet anything about Jeffrey Epstein. Steer clear of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Let Attorney General William Barr handle this. Don't do it. Don't do it. But what if it's really funny? What if it's a really funny tweet? It would be out of character if I didn't. So if I don't, people will think something's up. So I might as well just, and then before he even finishes his thought, he's retweeting stuff. So it's a bad look for the president. But then you've got people in the media who are criticizing others for perpetuating these conspiracy theories regarding the Clintons. But honestly, do I think that Bill and Hillary Clinton had Jeffrey Epstein murdered? No, I think it goes way higher than the Clintons. That's right. We've all become tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists because that is mainstream. Honestly, it is. MSNBC, CNN, NBC, all the news channels have been selling this Russian conspiracy for almost 3 years now. And then they want to say, oh, you guys can't be pushing out conspiracy theories. It's like, that's what you deal in every day. Why not? Clinton body count. It's a thing. How would you like to be the Clintons? How does that even happen? That you are synonymous with having people suicided. Like the joke is that obvious. I mean, it is that obvious. Those weren't even the jokes I was making on Twitter. I was steering clear of the Clinton stuff because that's the red ocean. That water has been chummed. That's done. I was trying to take other routes in my Jeffrey Epstein suicide jokes. Which it's okay to joke about suicide if it's a really bad guy that did it, isn't it? Right? I mean, mine were more like, hey, what kind of video games was Jeffrey Epstein playing in jail? And if video games have anything to do with it, right? Anyway, so we'll talk more about it. There is a list out there. There's a list linking the Clintons to all kinds of mysterious deaths and suicides, and we need to go ahead and debunk all that. This list's been around for 20 years, but it makes its way out. Anytime anyone is suspiciously suicided, in the case of Jeffrey Epstein, it was. But that's the bombshell right now. They're doing an autopsy, or an autopsy has been performed, but they don't know the results yet. They haven't released it. I'm almost certain they're going to find something weird going on. You're in solitary. It's really hard to kill yourself in jail. I mean, if you were just on suicide watch, what do they do? Hey, here's all the stuff back that you can commit suicide with. I mean, I thought that, you go into a solitary confinement. I mean, you're monitored. They take away all your shoelaces and stuff. So here you go. Here's your shoelaces back, Mr. Epstein. Feel free to go ahead and harm yourself. Just doesn't add up, and it's weird. It's weird. But we got a lot more to get to other than the hashtag Epstein suicide. It's back to school time. I want to talk to G-Man. He's got a couple of twin kindergartners who went off to school today. We will commiserate about back to school. But coming up, the manhunt for Curtis Ray Watson came to an end on Sunday morning. What is next for this evil bastard? We'll find out next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs, those little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows: storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
El Artista Cigars presents Cigar Night, Cut and Light, Friday, August 16th at 6 p.m., held at the Crossroads Cigar Emporium at 1403 West Goodman Road in Horn Lake, Mississippi. Hosted by El Artista's brand ambassador, Dula. He'll be introducing the brand's two 2019 releases, the Big Poppy Slugger and the Buffalo 10. We'll also have swag giveaways, refreshments, and, as an added bonus,
Big cigars,
the premiere of Dula's new music video for his brand new single, Big Cigars. So come on down to the Crossroads Cigar Emporium, August 16th at 6 p.m. for El Artista's Cigar Night, Cut and Light. Happy Pasita! I'm in the humidor, trying to grab it. Look here, big cigar, fast cars, and Memphis stars, big cigar,
Hey, are you pregnant and need health insurance?
Yes, I'm really in need of insurance.
Have you heard of the TennCare Presumptive Prenatal Program?
No, what is that?
It's a program where pregnant women can get 62 days of temporary Medicaid insurance coverage.
Wow, I didn't know about that. Thanks.
For more information regarding the